Ready, hot!
Can you just sort of compare and contrast how it feels being here than versus how it felt when things got away from you last year?
I just think we're playing a lot better than we did last year. I think the offense has more of a rhythm and doing better things than it was last year for sure. Yes, we lost a couple games, but we lost to third ranked teams. So those were competitive games too, and so we've lost to two good football teams, and the offense is still heading in a good direction right now.
Landry, you threw for a bunch of yards in the passing game, had a good night, you had a good night, but I know as you look at a game, you always say, I wish, we could have had this or we could have had that. Can you talk about a couple of things maybe that, as you look back on the game, that you wish you'd have tried or that going?
I don't know. I think it was coming down to those plays that we kind of hurt ourselves. That snap with Gabe, just a big miscommunication, and then once we got down there to a place where we kicked two field goals that we needed to score touchdowns in. And you play a good team like Notre Dame or Kansas, you got to score touchdowns when you get opportunities.
So you didn't see a certain route or thought you should have gone deep or anything?
No, I mean, they were sinking so much that they weren't really giving us much of an opportunity to push it down the field, so we had to be patient. We had to go underneath.
If you guys don't try and establish the run regardless of how it's going, how does that affect your pass game?
I think it's just easy for teams to drop 8, and against Notre Dame, that's what they were doing. Most of the night, they're dropping 8. But, I mean, regardless of what happens during the course of a game, we have to figure out a way to score touchdowns, and that's the big factor of the night, that we kicked 2 field goals when we should have scored touchdowns in those situations.
Are you wondering when it's going to stop? Like, when you're going to stop seeing your guys limping off the field and hobbling around on crutches?
I don't know, sometimes it just goes that way. Ever since I've been here, I feel like we've just had injury after injury, and so I don't know what it is. It's just something that kind of happens.
Not as bad as it is at Maryland, though. Apparently they're playing a linebacker quarterback this week.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Maybe Ward can play QB.
Huh?
Maybe Ward could play quarterback. Maybe Bob started off talking about the fact that there were 2 or 3 close calls that played a big part in this game. Have you had a chance to look back at the interception, and what are your thoughts on potential interference call and the interception itself?
I mean, from where I was standing, I thought it was interference, but I'm not a referee, and my job's not to be a referee. My job's to be a quarterback and to throw completions, and so yes, I did think it was interference, but that's not the way they saw it, and so you kind of have to just play through it.
Landry, you told us about Saunders almost the first day that he came here. 15 catches is an amazing night. What about the future with this guy and the offense and what this performance can mean as you go forward?
Yeah, he's just another one of the guys that can make plays. The receiver position for this year have been really deep, and been fortunate enough to play a lot of guys in different positions. I think Jalen's just going to continue to move and continue to do a lot of good things through this offense.
Landry, you talked about the need to score touchdowns and capitalize on some of those drives. What things can you guys do to get turn those into touchdowns?
Little things like the snap. That's one thing. Just communicate, and then penalties. I think the other one was a holding call that we got. And so when you're down there, you just got to be smart and keep your hands inside and do different things like that. Not to blame anybody, but as an offense, we just have to capitalize and be smart when we're down there and play efficient football.
You talked about Notre Dame giving you a lot of, I guess, sinking, you said. And so you get further down the field, they can only sink so far. When the goal line gets closer, your job gets harder to find those spots. As that's happening, do you kind of have a sense, we're getting to the 30, and then it's got to be difficult? Or how do you overcome that? Or are there, I don't know, trying to understand how that all works as an offense.
Even when we got down there, they were still sinking off our guys, and so we're pushing it vertical, and that's why you saw us throw more to the running backs underneath on little option routes to those guys, and so just as we get down there, like I said earlier, you just got to capitalize on your situations and play efficient football.
In retrospect, do you think the pass that you've thrown to Millard a lot, the other night you hit Williams on the back straight up the field, do you think that might have been there again?
I don't know. They were putting that safety right in the middle of the field, and so we're a little play action to the boundary. So I don't know if Trey's would have been there. That's kind of why we called the one for Damien.
What do you think about going to play to Ames? They've had some pretty rowdy crowds recently in the test that could be for you guys.
That's a huge test. They typically always play really well at home. Got a good defense. Going to be a big challenge for us to see how we're going to respond to this loss and what kind of team we're going to put out there on the field on Saturday.
Is this the last stadium you have not visited? Obviously,
Yeah.
other than West Virginia TCU.
Yeah, I've never been to. This will be my first trip to Ames.
Does anything, if you have any feeling of why this team would not show up as a whole? I mean, I know the national championships have a picture, as you mentioned, on Saturday, but there is still a lot to play for. You don't, I guess, even have a feeling that this team would not show up as a whole?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to shut it down and just be like, all right, let's call it quits for the rest of the year. But there is some adversity, coming with losing games and coming with different goals being out of the picture for sure. But we're a prideful program. We have a lot of pride in what we do, and we're not going to shut it down. We're not going to stop trying, and when game day comes around, we're going to put our best guys on the field, and we're going to play hard.
Is the team you feel like would be excited to finish off and chase a BCS berth at this point? I mean, obviously that's still out there, but you guys have experienced that before, know what it's like.
No, yeah. That would still be exciting, still being able to go and play in a BCS game. That'd be great. I think it'd be huge for our program and big for this team.
Do you say to each other, I think typically you say we can still go win a national championship, we can still go win a Big 12 championship, you would need help to do that. Can you say we can still go 11-2? Does that seem like anything remotely the same, or is that 11-2 would be quite a good season? So
Yeah, 11-2 is a good year. That's the goal now, We're not going to be like, okay, we're going to go 10-3. We're going to just lose another one, So that is the goal, and that's what we're going to try to do, and we're moving towards that.
All right. Thank you, everybody.